Hey, this is Christian, and we're back again for some more algorithms practice. So I solved a couple of problems off camera. Once again, my recording didn't work out, but in terms of that, everything else has been on camera. So, in the last unseen footage that you will never see, I struggled quite a bit, but it's been getting a little bit better progressively. I'm getting a little bit quicker at solving these problems, and hopefully that my momentum continues. I continue to get better. I have been studying a little bit off camera, not anything crazy. Hopefully this coming week I spend some more time studying, and next week we can take a crack at a medium problem. See how long that takes. Alright, so let's jump right into it. So they're going to give us two arrays of integers, and then we're going to ask to determine all the integers that satisfy the following two conditions. The elements of the first array are all factors of the integers being considered. So I think that would be to check if the first array is common denominators of the second one. All factors, okay. The integer being considered is a factor of all elements in the second array. Oh shoot. So they have to be integers of each other? Yeah, so they're using the remainder. In the problem I solved off camera, we did use remainder to, we did use the, I guess it's called the modulus, or the module. I can't remember, one of those two. So, okay. So this is a fast way to do this, and I think it would be to determine the common denominators of this set here, because it seems like this set is going to be the bigger set. Oh, there's a third line? Oops. Oh, the number of elements. Okay. So the first line is going to contain the number of elements. Lately I've been writing this stuff down, and it's actually helped me stay really organized. So first line is M and N elements. Oh, it's N and M. Okay. Then the first line is going to be A array. Second line is going to be B array. Yeah, I think the best way to be find common denominators, but for the sake of practice, we're just going to do the simple solution, which is unfortunately, what is it, n squared? Yeah, it's going to be n squared, complexity. Let's solve it n squared, and then let's try to simplify it. How about that? Explanation: divide 2 and 4 evenly into 4, 8, 12, 16. Oh, so sometimes they'll have two different sizes. Wow. Wait, what? Print the number of integers that are considered to be between A and B. Not sure what that means. That are between the sets? I'm not sure if I'm getting what that means. Oh, okay, here it is. For example, given the array A equals 2, 6, B equals 24, 36. There are two numbers between them, 6 and 12. Where do they get 12 from? That's what I don't understand. Let's see, 2, 4. And this one chooses 3. Why though? 2 and 4. So what does this print out? So 6% 2 is 0. 6% 6 is 0. 24% 6 is 0. 36% 6 is 0. Okay. Similarly, 12% 2 equals 0. 12% 6. 24% 12. 36% 12. Yeah, I don't get where they're getting this 12 from. It's kind of strange. Let's see. Let's see what the sample code can tell us. It never closes? What? I'm just gonna put return 0 so it runs. So that way I can see what the actual results should be. Alright. So that's the same one it showed us up there. Let's look at the second one. 3, 4, 24, 48. So it should be 2, which I don't really understand. I'm gonna read this again. I'm gonna be quiet for a second. The elements of the first array are all factors of the integer being considered. Okay. The integer being considered is a factor of all elements in the second array. So these have to be factors of the number x. And then these have to, the number x has to be a factor of these. Okay. Alright. Getting there. So 6 will be a factor of all this, okay. And then 12 will also be a factor, okay. Okay. Alright, we're back. Don't panic. Okay, the function is expected to return an integer. The function accepts following parameters. So we return the number of numbers that satisfy this condition. So in this case, four, 8, and 12, and then 4 and 8 and 12 fit between this. Okay. Got it. We're back. All right. Okay. So let's see. So I'm thinking the best way to do this is we'll start with this number here. Yeah, we'll start with that number for x, and if it works for all the conditions that we need to satisfy, then that's a good thing, you know? Alright, so let's do the classic setup. So we'll need a variable, subtract the number of values. I'm gonna put between in parentheses, quotes, because I don't know, I think between is a weird word to use, but it's technically true. The two arrays. Return tracking variable. Okay, so I've been practicing using more descriptive variables as well. It's actually pretty helpful. This is not indented properly. Apologize. Oops, what happened? Between array count, which honestly is a pretty terrible name, but at this moment I can't come up. I'll think about it as I go through. Maybe I'll come up with something better. I keep forgetting to use size instead of length. It's still kind of weird for me to use these list classes or these list data types. I'm just not used to it, but I more or less know how to navigate around them from our previous experience. So, okay. Alright, let's see how this goes. I have a couple of ideas. So what we could do is this just goes through and tests each value against the value of x that we're testing. I'm going to put current x equals to, we have to start it at we're going to start at the last value of this one. So we're going to do a dot get, and then we'll do a dot size minus 1. So that's the last value of the array in the first array. That's supposed to be factors of the value of x, right? And then we'll have an increment for x. We're going to do a dot get, and we're going to do the value at 0. I think that's our best bet right now. So that way we'll increment by the least common denominator. Is that right? Or the least factor that comes up. So that's what we'll increment by. And then we'll do the increment down here. Is this the way I want to do it? No. I'm going to do plus equals. So we're going to increase by itself each time. So we'll do one here. We're going to do if the current x modulus current is modulus then we'll continue. That's not right. The current x, yeah, that is right actually. Weird. No, that's not right actually. That got 0. Okay, so we're testing the current value, making sure that it's divisible by every value of a dot size. And if it doesn't equal 0, then we'll continue, which hopefully brings us back into this loop without entering into this one. Because it's pointless to enter into this one if this value isn't divisible by whatever it's doing. This is supposed to be I actually. So if so this one's going to be the opposite. We're going to be dividing the value in the array by the current value of x we're testing. And in the case that it equals 0, think it's better to have a boolean. So we're gonna have one called satisfied condition. Call it like that. And we'll set it to default true until proven false. So this one needs to stay. And in this one we'll do and. So that way if this one doesn't equal 0, we'll just set this to false, and that way it'll break out of this. It'll stop doing it. So it gets kind of confusing. So we want this to happen, then we'll increment this, and then at the end we'll return the tracking variable. Theoretically, this should work. It's not super efficient. So in this case right here, we're gonna have to add a condition that we'll put satisfy condition to false if it enters here. Is that right? No, because it's gonna iterate, so we'll never reach there, so we don't need to do that. So this sets it to false. This breaks out of here, so then it'll continue through here. So we need to reset satisfy to true down here after we check. You see that? And then we'll increment, and then it'll go through again. So theoretically that should work. It does not. Your output is 2. Start at 4, and we increment by this value. So it should be the last value in the array, correct? Incremented by the first value. Yes. Let's see what's going on here. The current x percent a dot get I. Oh, this is supposed to be j. Whoops. Still wrong. So you have current x, or if the value in array B is not divisible by the current x value that we're testing, we'll change satisfy condition to false, and then it should break out of here. So once it breaks out, it comes down here. If satisfy condition, it'll increment. But if it's false, then it won't. So here I'm going to print out what value of I we're at, making sure we're hitting pretty much everything. Or see what we're actually hitting. Oh, we need to put custom inputs, sorry. There's just one less than what it's supposed to be? Alright, so yeah, we're missing one case for some reason. I'm really glad we decided this test against custom inputs. So it goes through 0 and 1, which is fine. That's what we wanted to do. I guess one thing I realized is it doesn't need to be a nested loop like that. It could be two separate ones. Because then every time we go through one of these, we're going to go through everything. Yeah, no, we don't want to do that. So in every case, is n less than m. That is not necessarily true. It looks like n can be greater than m. Okay, so this technically should be fine. Okay, so this is what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to put these into a while loop. While the current x is less than, let's be less than or equal to the first value, of b. So do it like that. Then we'll copy everything into here. Oh shoot. Like this. Check it out. We don't need these to be nested anymore, so let me figure out how to separate them. Hold on. Okay, this is the if statement. So we need to close that. So we're gonna have an extra set of brackets down here. Okay, let's make sure this works. Something we could actually do is we could set it to true up on the top. Like this. I need to get better at simplifying these methods. This is kind of a little bit complicated. I feel like there's too many nests going on. If someone were to read this, they'd be really confused. Alright, so now let's test, not test, but run through, make sure this code makes sense. So now we changed it. So while the current x is less than or equal to b.get the last value. Oh, it should be the first one, huh? Well, the first value in this array. Because it should never be greater, because in the situation that that increment or that current x gets larger than that, then this will not be divisible by the current x, which does not satisfy the conditions that we're looking at. So we'll run through every integer in the A array. So we'll be dividing the current x by every value in the A array. If one of them is not, if current x is not divisible by one of the values in the A array, then we'll change satisfy condition to false and we'll break out of this loop. So we'll break out and then we'll continue on to this loop. So in this loop, we're going to do the same thing, iterate through every value of j, but instead we're going to be dividing the values in array B by the current x. So the values in array B have to be divisible by the current x. If at any point they're not divisible, then satisfy condition is set to false. We can technically just break out. We don't have to add. I guess it's good to have this condition because in the case that it breaks out of here, it tests right away. If satisfy condition is false, it won't even iterate through this. It won't bother. Boom. So then, I don't know if we should add a break. We don't need to add a break because it'll test for false and it'll break out itself. I mean, we could, but it's kind of redundant. So if satisfy condition is true, then it'll iterate. Then we increment x, and then we'll go back up in the while loop, and as long as it's less than that value here, boom, it'll keep going. Looks pretty good to me. Alright, let's run the code. No response. So somehow we created an infinite loop, unfortunately. I think it has to do with this break somehow. I think I should just do the same thing I did over there. So nothing gets outputted. I wonder what's going on. Oh. Alright, I understand what's going on. I think the last case would have worked too, but here we go. I'm not incrementing the right thing. Whoops. So this one gets 0, which makes no sense at all. So our output is 0 on this one, which is not good. This one's right. I don't know how, but this one's not. Let's see. So let's test our custom inputs. I can't really. Yeah, I can't really see where this would go wrong. Alright, let's write a print statement. Alright, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put I'm gonna write it out like that to see what we're dealing with, the current X, and what satisfied condition is printing. We'll do the same thing here. We'll put B. Alright, so we're gonna run it, see what happens. Yeah, see, we're getting all falses. Alright, so A4. Ew, it's not divisible by 4. That's true. Three and 4 should be 12, but we never get the value 12. So, what would be a solution to this problem? Should we start with 3? Yeah, I think we should start with 3. We can set this to current X. That should work. No? Wow. Oh, your output too. Yeah, that's right. Alright. Such a small issue. It's inefficient though, because it does test cases that would never be true. It'll work though. Alright, that's that. Something I want to do in the future is to come back and look at my old code and try to make modifications and improve on it. Maybe like at the end of the year, after doing this, yeah, maybe around 2021, or maybe around December during the holidays time, I'll come back and look at these and make modifications, and we can all react, be like, why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. And see how readable my code is too. Because right now I know what I did, but when I look at it, a few months from now, it's gonna take me a while to analyze this. And this is a small program. It's just one method. Imagine doing hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands of lines of code with tons of different classes and methods. If I'm not able to keep that organized, how am I supposed to work with a team, you know? It's not always about you. You got to be thinking of the future. You got to be thinking about, what if I'm on a project and for whatever reason it's not within my interest anymore, or I have to move on to something else, I don't have enough time, someone better comes up that's more qualified to work on it. I have to be able to write my code in a way that anybody can pick it up and start on it relatively easily without spending months, weeks, even weeks is too long, analyzing the code, trying to figure out, like, what is this guy doing? I don't understand why this loop, why he set the increment to the current x, or why he used a.get as the initial current x. Like, why is he doing all this stuff? Like, I don't want my code to be that type of thing. I want it to someone to look at it, spend some time going down. And if a method doesn't make sense, or if it's a little bit confusing, there's a comment there that explains why that's being done. That's kind of the vision I have. Alright, so that'll be it for today. Thanks for joining. See you next time.